I've always admired my brother in a way that's hard to describe. Not just for what he achieved, but for how he did it. He's adopted, and from the start, life didn't hand him anything. No silver spoons, no easy roads, no shortcuts. He earned everything. Every calloused hand, every late night, every decision was a battle. And yet, somehow, he always rose. From the very beginning, he was disciplined, fair, and endlessly determined. I remember watching him sit at the kitchen table, bills scattered across the surface, staring at a ledger like it held the secrets to survival. He didn't complain. He didn't whine. He just calculated, planned, and executed. That's who he is. And it's why, when he decided to build his first house, I knew it would be something extraordinary. It wasn't just about a structure. It was about proving, first to himself, then to the world, that he could rise above life's hurdles. He took a plot of land Dad sold him, scraped together every dollar he could, and slowly, painstakingly, built the walls, the roof, the very home that would cradle his family. Every nail hammered, every brick laid, was a testament to perseverance. Time passed, and with it came reward. His first house sold at a profit, a tangible sign that all the struggle had a purpose. Then came the land, 175 acres in the Midwest, rolling fields, pockets of forest, and a house that was functional, but hardly impressive. But my brother doesn't settle. He envisions perfection and works tirelessly to reach it. So he built a third house, a modern, sturdy, beautiful home that reflected both his success and his determination. The first house on that property? He left it mostly untouched, planning to sell it. But the surrounding land he kept for hunting and farming, a sanctuary, a place of control, a piece of legacy. Watching him manage this was like watching a maestro orchestrate every note with precision and care. And yet, through it all, his generosity never faltered. That would become both his strength and the temptation that some family members could. It began subtly, almost innocently. One of the envious family members approached him, voice polite, but tone weighted with expectation. "Would you consider selling us the house?" The numbers were clear. They could barely qualify for half of what the house was worth. They couldn't pay full price. And yet, my brother, ever compassionate, ever fair, saw an opportunity to help. He remembered his own struggles, the nights he had wondered if he'd ever get a break, and he agreed. He sold them the house at a steep discount. The deal went through. The bank processed the loan, papers were signed. It seemed simple. Family helping family, and for a while, that's exactly what it was. But life has a way of testing even the most generous hearts. A few months later, while driving past the property, my brother froze. A for sale sign now stood where he had trusted them to live with integrity. I could feel his tension even from the passenger seat. His jaw tightened, his hands gripped the steering wheel like he was bracing against a storm. He stopped the car. Calmly, he walked up to the house, greeted the husband, and asked, gently but firmly, "I noticed the sign. You're planning—" "Yes," the husband said. "We're not happy with the house. We want something closer to town." My brother's voice was steady, measured, unwavering. "I sold you that house because we're family. I trusted you to respect that. I'd appreciate it if you sold it back to me for what I sold it to you for." The husband's face hardened. He shook his head dismissively, closed the door, walked away. I stood there, watching him. The man who had managed massive construction projects, bridges over rivers, highways through mountains, paused. This wasn't a technical problem. It was a moral one. And he was about to solve it. That night, I watched him sit in the quiet of our kitchen. He didn't speak. He didn't fume. He thought. Every muscle in his body was relaxed, but his mind raced. And slowly, I saw the plan form. It wasn't about shouting. It wasn't about confrontation. It wasn't even about money. It was about respect. And he would make them understand without ever actually harming them. By sunrise, the truck was loaded with fence posts, wire, and tools. He drove past the property with calm determination, marking the perimeter. Every post hammered into the ground sent a silent message. You don't. When the husband noticed him, confusion was written across his face. "What are you doing?" he asked, trying to mask suspicion with casual curiosity. "My property," my brother said, voice calm. "I'm just putting up a hog fence. Don't worry, I'll put a gate so you can get in and out." The husband laughed nervously. "You're bringing in pigs?" My brother said nothing. He continued hammering posts into the ground, methodical, patient, deliberate. Inside the house, panic began to bubble. Whispers, hurried discussions, speculative glances. 100 pigs roaming the property would be catastrophic. The tension was palpable. Hours passed. The husband, realizing the seriousness of the situation, stepped outside. Face pale, hands trembling slightly. "Maybe we can talk about this?" he asked cautiously. My brother wiped sweat from his brow, leaned casually against a post, and said with quiet authority, "We can, or you can wait to experience the consequences of breaking family trust. Your choice." Minutes stretched like hours. Then finally, the husband nodded. They went to the bank. The deed was transferred back. The house was reclaimed. The pigs? Never needed. I watched, amazed. Justice had been served, not with violence, not with anger, but with calm. That evening, sitting on the porch of his reclaimed home, my brother looked out over the acres, the sun setting in a blaze of orange and gold. I joined him. "You didn't, actually?" I asked, quietly, voice soft with awe. "No," he said, a small smirk curling his lips. "It wasn't about the pigs. It was about respect. Sometimes the most satisfying victories are quiet, calculated, and unforgettable. Sometimes the best revenge is clever, patient, and strategic. And sometimes family learns a lesson that words alone could never teach. Word spread slowly at first, then quickly. The story of the hog fence became a legend, whispered among relatives, neighbors, and friends. It wasn't just about pigs or property. It was about ingenuity, fairness, and never letting betrayal go unpunished. The family member who tried to exploit his generosity never underestimated him again. And my brother? He continued building bridges, literally and figuratively, leaving behind a legacy far richer than money, land, or houses. Some lessons don't need shouting. Some victories are served quietly, cleverly, and memorably. High on the hogs in years later, the property remains pristine. The houses stand tall, the land flourishes, and the story echoes through our family, a tale of generosity, betrayal, and the cleverest revenge imaginable. If this story gave you chills, satisfaction, or a quiet laugh, like, comment, and subscribe for more jaw-dropping tales. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a story that will leave you shocked, inspired, and entertained. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't loud. It's calculated, unforgettable, and high on the hogs.